Most people can remember a time when they were really moved. This is especially true for a fire captain who couldn't believe how much a little boy would change his life. When he needed help the most, they went to a fire station that could change the lives of many firefighters for good. When the child gave the fire captain a note with a request on it, it made him and his crew cry. It's something that no one saw coming. Watch to find out what happened between the fireman and the young boy. Jim Grimzer was born in New York and had lived there his whole life. He was the captain of the New York City Fire Department, which wasn't surprising since he was from a family of firefighters. He loved helping people in his neighborhood. Jim had had a terrible thing happen at work, and he didn't know how the rest of his life was supposed to go. Still, he knew that his job was dangerous, but this situation hit close to home. Jim's team had just lost a good player. A young man who had just joined the department was the team member. Even though the captain had only met the new firefighter a few times, he still thought of him as one of his men. Jim's grief over the recent loss in the fire department had eaten away at the captain for weeks, and he couldn't seem to get out of the deep hole he dug for himself. Then he went through a huge change. One day, Jim surprised the team by going to where a small problem was happening and helping out. The problem was solved, and the group got ready to go back to the station. He wanted the other firefighters on his team to know that he had had their backs. From the Fire District of New York work in different stations around the area. There could have been a lot of firefighters there on that same day, but Jim was there at the right time and in the right place to see something powerful. A young boy came up to Jim and asked for something. He had a question. Jim was used to having young, excited kids run up to him to see the fire truck, but he could tell right away that this boy was up to something else. Trucker Dukes was the name of this young boy. He had been coming to the city for quite a while. The young boy thought that New York City was the best place to keep doing what he liked, but he never would have thought his dream would come true. Trucker and his mother were staying in New York. They lived in the house of Ronald McDonald. The boy saw the Fire District of New York firefighters, and he and his friend were coming back from a trip. He got more and more excited. At that point, he saw the fire department captain. The plan was for Trucker and his mother to go home. When they were at the scene of the call, they saw Jim walking back to his fire truck. Then, the two of them went up to the captain and started talking to him. Trucker told the captain what he wanted. Trucker told Jim he loved firefighters more than anything else on earth. His mother nodded to show that she agreed with what he had said. The fire department was very interesting to Trucker. This happened a lot, but Jim was surprised by how far this love went. Sarah, Trucker's mom, had told Jim about the fire truck-themed trucks and decorations that her son kept. He didn't care about anything else or play with anything else. A big part of the young boy's life was the fire department. Trucker was wearing regular jeans and a t-shirt, but on the top of that he had a firefighter jacket. Jim thought that this was so cute, and it showed him how much Trucker cared about being a firefighter. Jim asked Trucker's mother what made him want to become a firefighter. Sarah told Jim that her husband worked for the fire department, because Trucker had grown up hearing about it and always going to the fire station to see his dad. This made Jim feel sad, because it made him think about his own family. Jim asked Sarah. Her husband was a firefighter in New York, and he got a shocking answer. Sarah and Trucker were born in Maui, Hawaii, and they were going back there in a week. The man who raised Trucker worked here. Everyone was surprised because they thought Trucker would be in school in Hawaii. Sarah said that he was diagnosed with neuroblastoma 2 years before. Sarah and her son went to New York so that Trucker could get medical care. Neuroblastoma is a rare type of cancer that usually affects kids younger than 5. People with the disease, like Trucker, have no way to get better. But this can be fixed by a doctor, which is why Trucker goes to New York City. The captain and his crew people wanted to know why Sarah and Trucker were leaving New York. Trucker was on stage 4, and the family decided they'd rather be together. They couldn't do anything else to help Trucker. Trucker's body had been through a lot because of his treatments, but there was something else that was making him feel even worse. The medicine he was taking was putting a huge strain on his body. They did everything they could. He'd had 3 rounds of chemotherapy and 2 surgeries. None of the treatments for his tumor had worked. The doctors couldn't do anything else to help him. So Sarah thought it would be best to bring Trucker home to his family. This made everyone feel sad. Jim was interested to hear what the boy wanted after he heard Trucker's story. The boy asked to be a firefighter. The captain looked at the boy and then gave him a hug. The whole team felt sad and wanted to help in any way they could. Jim wanted to ask the boy one question. He wondered why he worked for the Fire District of New York instead of his dad's department in Hawaii. Sarah had to tell him that Trucker had seen the captain at work and was very interested in what he did. Jim knew that Trucker's main goal in life was to become a firefighter, but the captain of the fire station wanted to do something more than just give the young boy a badge and take a few pictures. The captain finally came up with a good plan, and he moved quickly to put it into action. Before Sarah and Trucker went to Hawaii, Jim talked to his team and set a date for the boy to become an honorary firefighter. When Jim heard who would be at the ceremony, he was shocked. He found out that Trucker's dad and other relatives were flying to New York to attend the ceremony. Because of this, he wanted to make sure that everything went well. Even though Jim had been worried for days leading up to the ceremony, it seemed like he hadn't had anything to worry about. Trucker's family was there to show their support. Trucker's father, Joshua, carried him to the podium and helped him say that he would become a firefighter. A few days after the ceremony, Trucker had his birthday. On his birthday, his family and the Fire District of New York firefighters were there. Trucker's biggest dream had come true. The family decided to make another important choice at that time. Sarah and Joshua knew it would be hard to tell the rest of the family about their choice, but they thought it was best for Trucker. They were done with his care. They wanted to keep him alive as long as they could, but they didn't want to do so if it meant he could die. Once Trucker's family decided to stop treating his cancer, they decided to live life to the fullest. This became known as the Trucker Tough Challenge, and it was shared with a number of social media sites, where it showed some amazing things. Trucker's first adventure was with his parents and 3 older siblings in British Columbia. Trucker's family wanted him to see as much of the world as they could afford. They went to Whistler to learn how to sled as a bigger family and help pay for Trucker's medical bills. Joshua and Sarah knew it would be hard to pay for all of these trips and activities, but being able to see how happy Trucker was worth it. It didn't take long for the Trucker Tough Challenge to spread around the world. The Duke family was completely blown away by how much help they got. Many people streamed in and gave money to their cause. Everyone was glad to see that Trucker was enjoying himself. Trucker died less than a year after he stopped getting treatment. He died in Hawaii, where he was living with his mother. The boy's dream of becoming an honorary firefighter had come true, and he was able to spend time with his family. Trucker died way too soon, there's no doubt about that, but his parents didn't feel too bad about it. They had done their best and given Trucker a wonderful life full of love and happiness. Even though it hurt to say goodbye, they knew they had to celebrate Trucker's life. The loss of Trucker was a huge blow to the firefighters in Hawaii and New York City. They all made sure to tell his family how much they cared, but some of them wanted to do more for the honorary firefighter than just this. The firefighters in Hawaii decided to work together to make a beautiful mural for Trucker as a memorial. It wasn't just because his dad worked for the department as a firefighter. His love for the fire service was clear to everyone. The fire service also added Trucker's name to the official list for their department. This would make sure that the fire service would always remember the young boy. His father was very happy to know that his son's name would be in the same place as his own. Trucker's dad knew that the best way to stay close to his son was to keep working as a firefighter, which was the job Trucker loved the most. Joshua goes to the grave of his son when he misses him. Joshua and Sarah lost their youngest son to neuroblastoma years ago, but they still work to raise awareness about the disease. In addition to this, they also want younger children like Trucker to be treated with less harshness. Sarah and Joshua were able to move on with their lives after the death of their youngest child and work to make other people's lives easier. They don't want other parents and kids to have to go through what they did. While their son was being treated for Trucker's disease, that's why they want less harsh treatments. A month after Trucker died, his father wrote a very sad tribute to him on Instagram. It said, "I love you so much, son. It's been a month today that you left me and went home to be with the Lord. Not a single day goes by I think about you all the time, and that's not why I miss you. I miss your smile, your laugh, how spunky and full of life you were, and how much you were loved. Thanks for being."